Hey everyone, welcome back. This is the FloTrack podcast. I am Kevin. He is Gordon. We're pre-recording this one. So if you're watching this on Monday,
we're from the past.
We are from the past. So if there was any breaking news that we're not talking about, we'll get to it when we come back live and in person. But
still have fun in the chat. Have fun in the chat.
Yeah, maybe they can have their own discussion about what
but we're not going to read it because we're not there.
Yeah. December 19th. We're recording this on December.
Maybe we'll go into the chat.
19th. Well, if you have time.
And we'll talk to ourselves.
You could do that. Like, man, Gordon making some really great points here.
Thanks, man.
At Gordon Mack says on the bottom. Yeah. So we're going to talk about some end of the year stuff, some fun stuff. We're also, well, as of recording, we're 2 weeks away. As of you guys watching and listening to this, we're 1 week away from Gordon's dunk attempt.
Yes. I may have done a preliminary dunk attempt before this pod that you're watching, but
oh wow,
I got to get as many as I can in before December 31st. Ideally, I want to get it done, though, on December 30th, which is my birthday. I think that's the day I'm going to actually really want to do it, December 30th.
What's the best and worst part about having a birthday on December 30th?
Best part is you never have schools, so it's easy to have a party because you don't have to worry about school nights or anything like that.
But you still go to school?
No, I'm thinking about when I was a kid.
Okay.
Worst part is you get one less Christmas gift, and you're like, I wanted that, and you realize, oh, you just got to wait 5 days, and then you get it.
Oh.
And then you realize Santa isn't real. So Santa's just mom and dad.
Whoa. We could have younger listeners watching. Yeah. So
I mean, you get
your parents could tip your hand. But also, does New Year's Eve kind of run into you can't have a party, right?
Yeah, that was the thing with that for our 21st birthday. That was kind of hard because no one was like, they're like, no, we're going to have New Year's Eve is tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're not going to drink tonight. We won't drink tomorrow.
Well, they wouldn't do both nights, huh?
I know. New Year's Eve is not really a thing anymore also. Like, no one celebrates New Year's Eve.
Wait. Hold on. Let's get consultation here from the youngest member of the shoe.
Colt?
Show.
Producer Colt agrees.
Colt, yeah. Is that true?
Overrated. The parties are lame.
Hold on.
People don't stay up till midnight anymore. The ball drop. No one likes the ball drop.
Exactly.
I used to think they actually dropped the ball and it shattered on the ground. And I found out they don't do that. And I was very disappointed. It'd be way cooler if they did.
Hold on. Is this just your personal opinion about New Year's Eve, or is your generation souring on it as a whole, Colt?
I speak for the generation, Kevin.
Okay. So what happened?
He's our generation consultant.
Yeah, he's Gen... Wait, what are you, Z? Gen Z?
Yeah, Z.
He's our Gen Z consultant. Correspondent. So what happened? Where did it go south?
I don't know. They just realized once you see it over and over again and you realize there's something special about it, and it's like no one actually does the New Year's resolutions. What's the point of celebrating it if we're all just gonna go back to our normal selves 2 weeks later?
Okay, I don't know if this is true, but because I've been out on New Year's Eve since 1992 probably, so I'm an early adopter to this. So it's cool that you guys are here, but I'm a little suspicious.
I got out on New Year's Eve when I was freaking out on New Year's Eve. When
Y2K?
No, so 2000. For the glasses, the zeros for the eyes.
Yeah.
2001, it works.
Yeah.
2002.
Oh, it keeps going.
Goes all the way to 2009.
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are they going to do in 2010?
Yeah. What'd they do?
I thought they were going to put the 1 here.
Yeah.
And to do 00. And I think they did that. So, because they still have 2 zeros for 2010. So then I was like, all right, 2011, what are you going to do?
Right.
They put the eyeball in the 1, and it just...
No.
I didn't like it.
That was it for you?
That was it for me.
I just don't like staying up late, so it was one of the worst holidays for me because it involved staying up really late.
So you're an old man.
I've been an old man my whole life.
Yes. You've been 38 since 2010.
Exactly. Well, I said I was out in the 90s. So it was always tough for me. And then it's very anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, okay, cool. It's over.
It would be cool if nature recognized there was a new year and there was an explosion in the sky.
Yeah.
All of a sudden the sky turned purple for 5 seconds and everyone goes outside to see the purple sky on January 000 whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was wild.
What about if we go just completely all in on more fireworks, like a 4th of July style, so just wakes everybody up who's not.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be worth staying up for, right?
Probably.
I mean, some cities do that, like limited fireworks, right? But not.
Yeah.
Usually you're not good. And the neighbors are setting stuff off. All right. The New Year's Eve ball drop is too slow, so we fixed it. All right, that's interesting.
It made it 3 miles per hour instead of 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk end of the year awards.
It should just fall to the ground. from a high height at midnight.
Yeah.
And
that-
Shatterer.
But it's going too fast. People can't count that fast.
And when they show it on TV with all those people crammed in, that literally looks like the worst.
Oh, it is.
Ever.
I used to live in New York during that, and you stay as far away as possible from that area.
Yeah.
And they fill it up so far deep, like it goes like multiple blocks. Like there's people who are standing there a mile away from the ball.
Just to see the ball. That's it.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And they came from like Wichita, Kansas. No offense.
Wow, Colt.
Colt.
Colt catching strays.
And they're like, oh, we're here. And they don't go to the bathroom for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And it's
You're shoulder to shoulder.
and they're
'Cause
freezing cold. It's not great at all.
On
It's
a
the
normal
worst.
day, Times Square is really difficult if you don't like crowds.
It's the worst.
Yeah, it's got to be terrible.
New Yorkers hate New Year's Eve.
Okay. Are you consider yourself a New Yorker?
I was for 3 years.
I don't think you become a New Yorker for just
Am I
a
a
couple
Texan?
years. No.
What am I?
You're
Philadelphia?
What are they? Philadelphians? Is that what they called? Yeah. You don't want to be?
I want to be all three.
You're the
I'm not a New Yorker for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a Texan, a Philly Texan.
You're getting second in everything this year. MLS, MLB,
Not the
football
Eagles.
coming up.
Eagles.
Yeah, you're
Well, this
Atlantic
this pod
Division.
is coming out after whether or not we just got beat by Cowboys or beat them. So I'm assuming we beat the Cowboys and we're now 14-1.
All right, congrats. All right, awards. We're gonna split these into two. A couple of them today, and then a couple of them on Wednesday's show, the last one before the new year. So today we're talking biggest surprise of the year. We're talking team of the year, celebration of the year, and then event of the year. I didn't put athlete of the year in this because we talked about that
So many ways.
ad nauseum. We talked about it in July. We talked about it in August. We talked about it in September when the nominations came out. And we talked about it finally in December when the winner was announced. We're not going to do college athlete of the year. You know why? We talked about it so many times when the NCAA meet was held, when they had the watch list come out, when they had the finalists announced, and then when the winners were eventually named with Cunningham and Abby Steiner winning it. So we're going to trend more on the side of just like out of the box types of categories or just singular events. So
Got it.
surprise, team, celebration, event. Let's start first with surprise. What do you got?
So I have two. We're allowed to have two winners, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I have co-winners. First surprise, Coastal Carolina's Melissa Jefferson.
Good pick.
Started off the indoor season, the 60. No one saw her. Like everyone was talking about Julian Alfred, and she was one of the top stars. Abby Steiner from the 200 and all that. But then this no name from Coastal Carolina comes in, not only wins it, but runs in like record fashion time. Then we think, oh, maybe it's a fluky 60. Sometimes you just really get the 60. No, she follows that up with a USA title, makes the world team, goes on and has an incredible, outdoor season. Didn't do well at NCAA outdoors, but hey, you win that 60 indoors, you make the Team USA outdoors. And no one knew who you were 48 hours before that indoor 60. Like the only person who knew who Melissa Jefferson was her family, her coach, and her teammates, and maybe the custodian at Coastal Carolina. Who like walked by the locker room.
Well, the teachers, too,
yeah,
the trainers. A lot of people probably. She's actually pretty fast.
She's actually kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But
your point is,
it went 10x after she ran that 60.
Oh yeah.
And then it went 100x when she won USA's, and now it's
That's what pushed it over the top for me was USA's.
Yeah.
Because we've seen people win the 60 indoors and then, outdoors don't do as well. And you think, all right, maybe there's a 60 specialist. That's fine. But winning USA.
Yeah. But no, that was the biggest surprise. I mean, the coach, I remember interviewing the coach. He's like, it's not a surprise. I was like, dude, it's a freaking surprise.
It's a surprise. It's a definite.
It's okay to be a surprise. And now it's not a surprise no more because now she's relevant. She's, pro, and she's going to be one to watch the next, 4 to 5 years. But, my biggest surprise.
Made the final, too.
Melissa Jefferson makes the final at Worlds from Coastal Carolina.
Got it. You had two, though.
No, I'll say my second.
Okay.
You say yours.
My biggest surprise, I'm going to go Toby Amundsen. Toby Amundsen.
That was surprising.
12:40. She set her PR in the opening round of the hurdle heats at Worlds. And then comes back in the semis. And we thought it was going to be fast just because all season it was fast. But it wasn't, someone's going to smash the world record fast. It was more like we're going to have a record amount of women run in the 12.2s this year or 12.2s and 12.3s in this one race. Like it's going to take something spectacular to even get on the podium. And then in the semi, she runs 12.12. And we're just shocked. I remember being there.
People, not only were we shocked, people on the internet were shocked. They were so shocked they started doubting it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Johnson be like, I don't know about that time.
Yeah. Everybody was coming up with, like, trying to explain, it
just made no sense.
Wind gauge, and shoes. Like, you ran through all the reasons why the time wouldn't count. And then you're like, all right, well, what's going to happen in the final? Then she comes back in the final and wins it in 12:06. Now, it was windy, 2.5, but basically a pretty similar performance.
Yeah.
So it only took her an hour to offer confirmation of what you just saw. Now,
that was a wild hour, though.
It was an incredible hour. And even after that hour, it's like she won. Because if she came back and then you're like, all right, she won Worlds, but then that one was in 12:3 or 12:29. You're like, okay, well, man, was something just weird about that specific race? But no, she basically ran the same performance twice. She ended the season pretty strong. Wins in Birmingham, gets second in Lausanne, but then wins the Diamond League final in 12:29.
But the surprise isn't the athlete. The surprise is just that
the world record is now 12:12.
Yeah,
and that someone has run in all conditions. And listen, it was certainly windy. I'm not doubting the wind gauge for the final, but it's not as if there was a gale force wind behind them for that race. So 12:06 is nuts. So 12:20, which had stood for a few years from Kenny Harrison, gone and broken by Toby Amundsen. That was I was stunned with Sydney's time, just how far she lowered the record. But like I at least had in my mind, I was prepared for the words Sydney McLaughlin world record. I was not prepared for Amundsen world record by that much.
My surprise, if I would have told you that Amundsen was going to win Worlds, would you have been surprised?
A little bit, because she had taken some losses early on in the season, but it wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have been a shock.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I told you Jake Whiteman was going to win Worlds in the 1500, would you have been surprised?
Yes, 100% yes. He had a good season leading up, but the contenders to Jakob were supposed to be Cheruiyot, Kipsang, Kerr was talking real big, maybe Oliver Hoare pulls a rabbit out of a hat, but it ends up being Whiteman.
So yeah, that was my other surprise, Jake Whiteman's 1500 meter performance. There's some great moments of his father who was doing play-by-play during that race, watching his own son win because there's some always like wins that happen at Worlds where it's kind of a weaker field. This was a great field.
Really good.
Very good field. So for him to do it in this type of atmosphere, was very impressed. And he knew it was impressive because, he held out, stayed on top, didn't do the rematch with Jakob back, at Europeans or Commonwealth.
Not Commonwealth. They're not. Norway's on the Commonwealth.
No, yeah. I got Euros, and then maybe at the Diamond League, but they didn't race each other, which is fine. Hopefully, we get that race in 2023. But that performance, that win, everyone was shocked.
Yeah,
he was shocked. Jakob was shocked.
It kind of built too because with 200 to go, it was just those two guys, and then you're like, wait a minute,
he's still there. Wait, Jakob's not getting him.
Yeah,
and it was surprising.
You had a lot of time to process it.
Yeah.
Like you had a full 30 seconds.
It's like you see the car coming and you're about to get in the car accident and it's coming. You're like, you're processing, I'm about to get hit by this car.
Yeah. And I think
we're processing Jake Whiteman's good butt shocked the world.
And I think Jakob winning the 5 later on just solidified how big of an upset it was because it's not like Jakob was out of form.
No.
He was ready to go. Whiteman just beat him. And really, if you look at the whole meet, I know we just talked about Amundsen being a surprise winner, but not like a huge upset shock winner. That ended up being the biggest upset on the running events of the entire meet individually. I mean, there was some relay upsets, but everything else you could imagine who won it.
Yeah.
Like it made sense, and it would probably have come from the top 4 or 5 people. I don't think Whiteman would have been in that top 4 or 5. It would have been the guys that we mentioned before as potential contenders. So yeah, that was one I was thinking about as well too for biggest surprise.
Team of the year, 2022 team of the year.
I took a page out of your notes and I went with 2 winners.
Okay.
Same event, same meet, but both these teams were clutch. I'm of course talking about the 4x1s. Canada beats the U.S. despite the U.S. winning how many medals in the 100?
All 3.
All 3. Canada did it. Anchored by Andre de Grasse, who was not the normal
Didn't
Andre
even make
de Grasse.
the final?
Yeah, not the normal Andre de Grasse that we had seen, but he had a really awesome leg left in him and managed to take it home. And then the women's side, the U.S. women beat Jamaica. How many medals did Jamaica have?
All of them. 2.
Do you remember?
They had all of them?
Let's see. How many did they have? That's a good
No, they
question.
didn't have 2.
They had 2?
In the 100, they had 2. They had 2.
No, they swept it, dude.
Oh, they swept?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the 200 where they had 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they had 5 of the 6.
the 2 nations, but you combine the U.S. men and the Jamaican women, they were 6 for 6.
Yeah.
And neither of them dropped the stick.
They just got beat.
They just got beat. Twanisha Terry held off Shrika Jackson, and Shrika Jackson was coming off that 200 victory, all-time performance there too. So, listen, great collection of performances. Like, that's what you hope for if you're an underdog team in the 4x1. Like, hey, individually they're better, but if we're just a tiny bit cleaner and we can be at top form all the way around, maybe we can pull this off. Because honestly, if you told me both of them will get the stick, and they had some issues, right? The U.S. men and the Jamaican women had some issues handling the stick. But like, if you had showed me the errors, I'd have been like, no, they're fine.
Yeah,
they're good enough to overcome it. Canadian men and U.S. women just ran really well.
Yeah, I like that. Canadian men, because those were 2 incredible upsets.
Yeah,
Canada and U.S. women.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, white men individually an upset. It's a little bit different than a relay setup, but those 2.
They beat the relays that had all 3 medalists in the 100. It was just wild.
I mean, and convincing sweeps, right? Like, there was a chance the U.S. could get 4 in there. Like, the Jamaican women, like, no, Fraser Price, Jackson, and Thompson-Heraw, like, Thompson-Heraw.
No one was touching them.
And Thompson-Heraw wasn't her best meet, right? Turns out she was a little banged up. Like, they could have had an even bigger gap, and they did it. So those were my best teams of 2022.
Kevin.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, you know who my team of the year is.
Okay. All right.
Northern Arizona men. Indoor.
What did they do indoor?
Podiumed.
That's right, they did. It was a long time ago.
Like 3 dudes. They podiumed. Drew Bosley, Nico Young, and Abdi Habib-Nur. There might have been someone else in there, but I think it was just 3 dudes. I could be wrong. At least 3 scorers. Abdi Habib-Nur had an incredible season, goes on to make the world team. Nico Young goes on to lead the cross-country team with Drew Bosley. Yep. Going 2-3. And was an upset. They were not favorites, which is weird. And they broke your brain. You were all off the NAU thing because you're like...
You were off the NAU thing too, to be honest.
I was off the NAU thing. But they're still in my heart. I was off it though, but they were in my heart. They let me know that I jumped off.
You think that's a hedge, and it's not. Yeah. In my heart, I picked them. No, you get 1 pick. You picked it.
You get a heart pick and a brain pick. Everyone gets heart and brain picks. That's how it works.
You picked them to get 4th. I picked them to get 4th. I said
they were 4th or 1st. That's what I said.
I said they were closer to being off the podium than winning. That's what I said.
Yeah, and you're clearly not an intelligent individual.
I was wrong, but you also picked them for 4th. So.
I said 4th or 1st.
No, you made your final picks. You picked them 4th. I was sitting right here. You were sitting right there. I remember it.
Anyway, they're my team of the year because
it's a good pick.
I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah,
and I think they're going to be team of my year forever. I think they're going to be my team of the decade.
Okay, let's not get carried away.
Right?
I said if they win, it'll be Mike Smith's greatest coaching performance.
And he also said you will never doubt them. They can
100%.
have their entire team die in a plane crash, and you'd be like, I still think they're going to win.
Stop. No, I think a better way to say it is their team can underperform the entire year, and I will still pick against them.
Their team could not even qualify. You'd be like,
they're going to petition.
They're going to petition and win.
Well, listen, like you had some stat. Like no team's ever performed that badly at Nuttycombe and gone on to win, right? Like it's
they broke the rule.
There's not very many meets that you get a gauge on how fast or how good a team is, and so you don't need to look very deep in the archives to be like, okay, they were not supposed to. They were not supposed to win. I mean, and Mike talked about, they're talented and they are talented, but they won this on that championship like DNA, for lack of a better term. Yeah, well, and experience, knowing how. Figuring it out and knowing the best way
Brody
to
and
attack
George,
that course.
They knew what to do.
Brody entirely, right? Big
Race Brody.
He got the
Santiago Prosser is like, they needed a new name. We thought the new name was going to be Colin Solomon. It wasn't. It was Santiago Prosser.
Yeah, Prosser runs out of his mind, and then Big Race Brody and George Kusha just do what they do, and then you have
Drew and Nico.
You have Drew and Nico doing a Baxter and Day from like it was all it was all right there.
Yeah.
Like you didn't need to be Nick Cage to figure out like where all the clues were hidden to like how they would piece this together. And Mike Smith afterwards said, basically, we've done this before. We know how to get the best out of the guys and on this one day figure it out, because the talent is like at the NCAA at that level, those 4 teams we were talking about, they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Right. So you can kind of game plan your way to get a few points here, a few points there. And since it went to a tiebreaker, they needed every single one of them.
Yep. They're my team of the year, 2022.
We should have done tiebreaker of the year. No? That would have won. I'm just letting you know.
I would let it be known that my version of this segment was so much more entertaining than your version of this
Gordon's version of this segment was, I'll read it here actually.
segment.
Gordon and Kevin each nominate 3 people for each category. This is Athlete of the Year. Men's pro, men's college, women's college, personal favorite. I don't know what that means.
That's whatever you want. Just fun.
Yeah. Colt puts the 6 names on the wheel. We spin the wheel and that person is named FloTrack's Athlete of the Year.
Yeah. Let the wheel decide.
So
Done a lot of wheel content recently.
yeah,
huh?
it's too much wheel. Also, it's like, so you're going to put Mondo, Kipchoge, Noah Lyles on a wheel,
Yeah.
and then whatever the wheel says.
Year 3. We're year 3.
The same.
No, you had picked different. We had to
Yeah,
make
that's
so we have 6 nominees.
Right there.
No.
The segment blows up.
No, I picked someone each, so I wasn't going to pick that person. We get
Okay,
6
so
names.
Ingebrigtsen,
Dos Santos and
Christian
Bacali.
Che.
No, Bacali.
Okay.
And we spin the wheel.
Yeah.
And then whoever lands wins FloTrack's Athlete of the Year. That's fun.
That's not fun.
That's fun. You want to find out who's going to win.
No.
It gives
We
Bacali
already
a chance.
gave away the winner.
We didn't give away. That was World Athletics.
No, we announced
We're
it.
FloTrack.
I said
That's World Athletics.
Mondo and Sydney, and they happened to line up with our picks. And we had our Bowerman, and we did that already. We don't need to randomize. Why do we need to randomize something we have an opinion on?
Give people a shot, man.
No, that's not.
Track. Throw a little chaos in it. There's a little bit of luck.
It's just,
all-
I don't know why you wanted to publicize.
Sports needs luck.
I don't know why you wanted to publicize that this was your idea, but I do like one of the categories is personal favorite. Like, what does that even mean? Like, just athletes that you like?
It's in the year of 2022.
Boom, you just write their name down. And
That's
you,
a fun category.
You win personal favorite athlete of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, the chat is loving this, and we don't know it because again, this is pre-recorded. But the chat would have wanted a wheel to decide our athlete of the year.
I mean, imagine if this was an NBA podcast that you tuned in for, and there was 6 nominees for MVP at the end of the season, and the person you're listening to was like, "We're not going to say who we think should be MVP. We're going to put all their names on a wheel, and then have our producer hit go, and then say the person that it gets spit out."
You know what I would do? I would like and subscribe. That's what I would do. I would like and
You'd
subscribe.
be like, "What's the point of this?"
I would like and subscribe.
Hey,
The point is
listen into our
content.
Oscars.
What's the point of anything we're doing? It's content, man.
Even your opinion, that's randomizing. It doesn't need to be randomized.
We're still giving our opinion. We're not like picking
I know,
6
and we've
random
already
names.
talked about those
We're picking
names.
6 names that
We've talked about those 6 names a million times. That's what I'm saying. We don't need to. We have other categories, such as celebration of the year.
Okay.
I went with
Okay, you go first.
Noah Lyles. Ripping
Okay.
the jersey. Easy pick. I guess you could have. I don't want to say another celebration because I don't want to take one that could potentially be yours. But that was another really good one that I'm thinking of. But Lyles, yeah, rips off the jersey. I thought it was a fun comparison to what happened with Warholm at the Olympics.
Who wins in a rip-off jersey match?
Well,
Warholm versus Lyles.
Lyles won because Warholm, the zipper got stuck. Now, maybe it's the construction of the jersey. Materials matter, right? It's like Formula One racing. Like whatever products you have heavily weighs in the outcome. But
Totally.
the quickness, you don't watch F1?
No.
Oh. The quickness.
Come on, man.
With the shirt basically dissolved in Noah Lyles' hands. He did it so quickly, too. He's the celebration.
That was a good celebration. Noah Lyles, do you think he planned that? Did we ask him that? Did someone ask him if he planned on doing that?
That's a good question.
Or was that a moment thing? Like, do you think
I
USATF gave him 2 jerseys?
Give him a second
a practice jersey.
Yeah. See how well it rips. Yeah, because
Yeah.
if it doesn't rip, that's really
That's embarrassing.
That's tough.
He took a risk.
I think he thought about it.
That would have been awkward if you're like, never mind.
After the semis and stuff, I think he's a pretty big favorite. I think he thought about it a little bit.
My celebration of the year was a celebration not seen by everyone. There was an athlete, went on, won a world title in Eugene. Wild Duck is a popular bar establishment next to the track that a lot of the athletes and fans and coaches go to. You were there. I was there after this day.
Yeah.
This athlete walks in, crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
And everyone could see him because he's the tallest man in the room. I'm talking about Alison Dos Santos.
Yeah.
After winning the 400 hurdles. it was a great celebration.
He had a bunch of people with him too. Didn't they start singing songs?
Yeah,
and,
started
chants
singing,
out?
chanting. Everyone is wild for him,
Yeah.
He was a celebrity. I went up to him and I said, "Hey, Allison, first of all, congratulations." And then I showed him my DraftKings Sportsbook bet slip. And I said, "Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me win $200.
He's a fun guy. His dance-off was awesome.
Yes.
In the stadium with the mascot. The other one I was going to mention was Mondo's flip. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I just like flips. I think they're cool. But yeah, Dos Santos.
You think flips are cool?
Yeah, I'm pro flips.
Okay.
Like, I think it's cool after, like, exciting baseball plays. I think after winning a race or a pole vault competition, I'm on flips. But he was having such a great night. It was kind of cool just to see, like, hey, how do people celebrate after they win a world title?
Get hammered at a bar.
Yeah. Well, it just was like, he was as euphoric as you would think he would be. That's kind of what you would do too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Event of the year. Road, field, throws, track. What was your event? And get specific.
I went with the women's 200.
Elaborate.
College, U.S., and professional. It was great. It was great. So on the college side of things, you had Abby Steiner and Favor O'Feely battling all season, rewriting the entire record book. Like, you look at the all-time top 10, so many of the marks are from those two from last year. U.S. side of things, and you had Steiner there as well. Yeah, the one kind of bummer of this whole thing was Gabby Thomas getting hurt.
Yeah.
I remember early season, she was running really well too, so it looked like we were going to get a good matchup with her and Abby Steiner. And you had Jenna Prandini come in. And then meanwhile, internationally, you have Shrika Jackson.
Yeah.
Just completely lighting the track on fire. Early season, she beats Elaine Thompson-Herah on the 200. We're like, wait a minute. That's a crazy big upset. And I was like, wait a minute. No, it's not really. Like, she's just going to own this event. And kept going and kept going and kept going all the way to Worlds. Ended up running, 2 of the 4 fastest times in history. Was part of that awesome 200 night at the World Championships. The women's 200 as a whole was great because you had all 3 Jamaicans come back. Oftentimes we see the 200 field at a World Championships start to disintegrate. People
focus on the 100.
People get scratched, but you had Jackson, Fraser Price, Asher Smith. You also had Steiner in there. You had Elaine Thompson-Herah, who by that point was pretty banged up, so she finished back in 7th. But you had a lot of big names. Wasn't the perfect field, but I was entertained by the women's 200 all year. I thought it was great.
It's kind of impressive too for it to be one of the better events, despite, like you said, some injuries. Gabby Thomas. You could argue Elaine Thompson-Herah wasn't her best form. Also, there was no Shawnee Miller-Weibo.
Right.
And Christina Mboma.
Because
who got hurt. So, there was more bullets left in the chamber to turn that event into a monster. Yeah. And it was still really good.
Well, it could win. It could be the first ever back-to-back
event of the year.
FloTrack podcast event of the year. I think it enters as the favorite.
Yeah?
I mean, the college side of things, you still have O'Feely. But I think U.S. and internationally, it doesn't get any worse, does it?
I don't think so.
If all those people get healthy again?
Someone's got to be the odd woman out.
Yeah.
It's only 9 lanes. Or 8. 9?
Well,
8.
It's going to be good. I just feel like if you have Jackson running around those times and then you have Steiner and Thomas there, who knows what the rest of the world brings. But just the people you mentioned being hurt, if they come back, then it's going to be better. Women's 2. I'll give some honorable mentions, but I don't want to take one of yours. I can give you some honorable mentions after.
Event of the year, you ask?
Yeah.
What do you think was the most talked about event in 2022?
The women's 200. That's why I picked it.
No. What do you think my event of the year was?
Your event of the year. Not the men's 5K again, was it?
The men's 800.
No.
That was the event of the year. For all the wrong reasons, of course, but also for all the right reasons.
I mean, it
brought so much content to the podcast, more than we could have ever hoped for. And it wasn't because we were seeing incredible performances. Mm-hmm. It's because we were seeing constant mediocre performances.
145.
And sometimes
145, 146.
You got to embrace the chaos, embrace the mediocrity, embrace the parody, mm-hmm. Embrace the stupidity, and embrace the
randomness,
embrace all of it, and recognize you know what? I'm just going to enjoy. I'm just going to have a good time. Yes, we're not seeing the 141s and the 142s that we thought we would get with a healthy Brazier and an all-out career. But it's going to be okay. We got to see some newcomers come in. We saw the 2 Algeria guys. They were running fun. They were kind of like new things. You saw Max Bergen kind of come into the picture. Never got to run at Worlds because of injury. But you look at him, he's going to be a bright young star coming into his own. The men's the U.S. side was kind of lackadaisical, if we're being honest. But you saw Eric Sawinski running around in circles. That was fun.
I love it.
I just think, like, yes, it was not a great event. Like,
so that makes sense that it would win event of the year.
But it was the most talk about event. And sometimes, they say
no such thing as bad PR.
There's no such thing as bad press. There's no such thing as a bad race when you're watching the race. And we watched it because they kept us on our toes. We never let go. Even though we saw the races like, you're dead to me. They were like, well, you're going to watch us next week. You're like, yeah, I'm going to watch because eventually I'm going to want you to.
It did get to a point where it was kind of, you're like watching just to see if someone's going to eventually break through. The best idea we had was the prediction contest for Worlds.
Yes.
Because I called our shot. I said, literally nobody's going to be able to get top 3.
In order.
And everybody was eliminated by the final, right?
Yeah.
Before the final even happened. There wasn't a single, we had 3. How many entries we have?
We had like over 500.
Yeah. That's more. I thought we only had a couple hundred. Either way. We had a lot of people tuned in. Very smart people.
It was 300.
Very smart people listen to the pod.
No one got it.
Yeah, your medalists were all gone. Like you had at least one of your medalists
gone in the first
before the final. I said that's exactly what's going to happen. Bergen pulled out for the first round, and that eliminated
like a third.
Yeah, of people's picks.
Maybe even more. Because
I think he was
one of the favorites.
He was a betting favorite, wasn't he?
So the odds of not having him in your medalist was like not an option, right?
Yeah.
But it was a great event. I mean, it wasn't a great event. It was a fun event because of the ridiculousness of it. It was honestly the event that we talked about most in 2022.
I almost picked women's 800 for this.
No. The men's 800 was the content. It was a content machine. I'm hoping it's not a content machine for why it was this year. Hopefully, maybe next year it could be a content machine the same way the women's 200 was. And you're seeing great performances.
Yeah.
But if we have to do 2023, we have to run it back. Whatever. I'll hop on that train.
I mean, other honorable mentions, I think you got to mention men's too, because it got kind of fun.
Yeah.
With Knighton running that fast time, and then Lyles and Knighton at USA's, and then the American record for Lyles. Women's 100 was great with Fraser Price running so much. There was some historically fast, historically deep performances. Women's marathon, I think you should mention as well too. That one was just wild, and the record book is way different than it was before. Women's high hurdles was good. Men's shots always been fun. Am I missing any? I thought women's 8 was sneaky good, but we just didn't get enough Mo versus Hodgkinson to put it in the number 1 spot. But that race at Worlds was really close, and then the race at USA's between Aja Wilson and I think Mo was really close too. So there was actually it wasn't a dominant year for Mo in the 800. It was just a lot more exciting and close races, which was fun. And men's 15. Men's 15 I'll throw out there too, just because you had a lot of big names who weren't afraid to race each other. I think that's it for this section.
I think that's it.
We'll do more awards on Wednesday.
This section, you mean this podcast?
This section of the podcast.
No,
this section of the awards.
This is the podcast.
This section of the awards, I mean. Okay. We're awards part 2, Wednesday.
Electric Boogaloo?
Yes.
Don't tell us what the categories are.
I won't.
Because
maybe we'll add more.
Maybe we do personal favorite.
Yeah, maybe
that's a great category.
You know what we should have done? We should have taken all of what we thought for team of the year and put it on a wheel and then randomized it.
How about this? I get 1 wheel selection.
I will allow that just because I think you need to see with your own eyes how this doesn't work as a segment.
I think it works as a great segment.
And I think you won't ever realize that until you are actually staring down that camera and you're seeing that it's just not working.
The chat loves the wheel.
Cole, do you think this segment works or there's any point to it?
The wheel segment? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think wheel-based content largely is negative, but I think we could make it work.
I like how you're positive.
I mean, you said we can make it work.
You hit me with it's negative to it's positive.
But like, Cole, you enjoy video games, right?
Sure, yeah.
Imagine if you're listening to a video game podcast and there was hosts and they're like, hey, what are the 6 contenders for video game of the year? And then as a twist, instead of just them all giving their opinion and having a debate about it, they put them on a wheel and then had a wheel decide. Like, I don't know if Gordon understands the wheel element here.
I know how wheels work.
It's not necessary is what I'm saying. I could just say, okay,
why are
Dos
we
Santos.
Why are we picking it randomly? I think that's
what I don't exactly. Cool. I don't get that
because of the anticipation.
But what does it mean?
It makes you. It's like you're on your pins and needles and knees, and you're freaking out. Like, are they going to pick the athlete I want them to pick?
Yeah.
And then the wheel spins.
And you know, we could do it. We could do an elimination wheel where we'll spin it.
Stop.
Those 6 names. We spin it 5 times. And we remove
Please stop.
5 names, and then the last name surviving is...
That is the same problem, except it's 5 times as long of a segment.
Okay.
Well done, Colt. Basically, Colt's saying stop digging.
No, we're doing the wheel. I get 1 category. I'm a third of this podcast.
You are. So you get outvoted by the other 2.
No, thirds. I get at least 1 category. And my category is decided by a wheel. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be personal favorite. Colt can nominate 3 people.
What do you mean?
You can nominate 3 people.
What am I nominating?
And I can nominate 3 people.
On what criteria? What is...
The criteria is personal favorite of the year. It could be anything.
Colt, is it just me?
Be track and field related.
I'm not understanding this part either. Are you getting this, Colt?
You're living too much in a box, man. Think outside the box, all right?
Okay.
Open your mind.
I'm going to just...
Live on a wheel.
I'll play it out. What is so my favorite of the year would be like Noah Lyles. Also Noah Lyles. I like Noah Lyles this year.
Okay. Sure, Noah Lyles is on the wheel.
But then what happens? Then we spin the wheel?
No, you're going to nominate
lands
3.
On Noah Lyles.
We're going to create the 9 wedges of the wheel.
I can't tell if is he trolling
I'm
us,
not
Colt?
trolling. We're going to do this.
I don't know.
Colt's going to nominate 3. Okay. You're going to nominate 3. I'm going to nominate 3. Then we'll have a wheel of 9, and then we spin it, and whoever wins.
Right.
But it's got to be a personal favorite.
Out the hypothetical, right? Like if we spin the wheel and there's 9 things on it, and we've all selected 3.
Yeah.
And my selection of Noah Lyles wins. What does that mean? Where do we go from there?
It means Noah Lyles is FloTrack's personal favorite for 2022.
Do we send a plaque or something? I
mean, we can.
I don't get this at all.
Should we send him the Eagles plaque that we have? I mean, we're not sending anything to the biggest surprise of the year and team of the year and celebration of the year. They're not getting anything, so why should...
Because they're actually who we thought won. That's what I'm saying.
We should do like why don't we do like a Twitter poll? Maybe we do a Twitter poll. That's a different way to select an answer for this.
Or people in the chat can vote, like their fantasy team. I think Gordon...
We can do a YouTube poll. We can do a live YouTube poll.
Really?
We could definitely do that.
I think Gordon was distracted. Sure. He thought he needed to write down an idea for the show. Wrote this down and did not put any thought into it.
Okay, hold on. First of all, this podcast, we pre-recorded. So the chat could be loving this idea right now. And I think they are. They may
I don't think they get it. It's like your analogy talking about Trey Cunningham and Grant Holloway.
No, the chat gets it. All right. If we don't do the wheel on the Wednesday pod, pre-recorded Wednesday pod, we're at least doing a wheel in January.
We can use the wheel when it makes sense. Wheel is one
wheel per month segment, okay?
Okay, listen.
That's all I want.
Listen, I'm not as negative about wheel-based content as Colt, but it needs to play a role. The role is when you need to randomize something like, hey, what's the draft order? Or, hey, who wins the gift card? Not who's the athlete of the year. Let's see what a random...
I concede we're not doing athlete of the year, but personal favorite of the year, we can randomize that.
That doesn't even make sense. That makes the whole category. Personal favorite. What does that mean?
Imagine you did this for the Oscars. They
exactly.
5 movies. And
you know, there's nothing stuff about the wheel. We could put the names in a hat, right? We could put the names in a hat.
The wheel's more fun.
It's the same thing.
It spin on the screen.
Also, I like how he's calling it personal favorite. Like, what does that even mean?
You can. It could be. It doesn't have to be an athlete.
It doesn't have to have anything on it. We could just spin it for fun if you want to do that.
Do you want a real wheel? Wait, don't you have one?
I have a wheel at my desk.
Yeah. Why don't you bring that in, and then you could just spin it all the time?
No, it's digital. It's better. More HD.
No.
Okay, hold on.
It's HD. That thing.
Personal favorite can mean anything. It could be for any reason. It could be an athlete. It could be a coach. It could be a thing. It could be a moment. It could be something from the podcast. It could be anything that happened in 2022 that is somewhat tangent to track and field. Okay?
Tangentially.
Like Cole could just be like Big 12. Like that's
yeah, okay. But then why don't we just like debate it instead of
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
About
You know what?
being on the wheel, and then we'll spin it,
Okay.
and then the winner wins.
Okay. You can.
Do you celebrate if you win?
I give up.
You don't have to do anything,
I
Colt.
give up. You
can
well,
just
we can do this.
live.
I'll put it on the rundown here.
Thank you.
Show for
We're doing
next
this on Wednesday.
Wheel. I'm gonna put wheel game.
Spin the wheel.
Yeah. Colt, I love that enthusiasm in your voice. Spin the wheel. I roll.
I'm hyped.
Colt's hyped.
He's
Colt,
he's
you're
gonna
gonna
put
be
Big
so
12
hyped if
on
you
that.
win the wheel. You're gonna be like, I'm so happy we played this game.
You got to give him the big gift card then.
True.
The big gift, the AMC gift card.
If Colt wins, or not, maybe the AMC one. We save that for a listener, but you got to give Colt something.
Keep
All right.
stealing the chat's prizes.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Have the chat Venmo him another $5 if he wins the
Hey,
wheel.
you earn it, Colt. But speaking of Colt, the meter's running for Colt right now, so we got to go.
Colt, thank you. Like and subscribe. Audience from the future,
We'll be back on Wednesday.
from the past.
Okay, people understand that things are sometimes pre-recorded.
Okay.
It's like, whoa, we're the first ever podcast to record something ahead of time. Yes, so come back, join us again Friday for the second part of our 2022 awards, and then we'll be off on Friday. Thanks everybody for listening and downloading. Like, subscribe, send us an email. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday.
Spin that wheel.
Yeah.